Welcome back, everybody, on this Christmas day, this Christmas evening. Not a happy Christmas for Parting, but Dark is going to advance 3-0. We're going to our final series of the night. Two aggressive Protoss, MyuNgSiK and San.
I think this can actually be a very fun series. We did just see Parting get kind of smashed here, but these two players I feel like are kind of on the same level. They're very aggressive, like you did mention. I think it's going to be very back and forth, like a very technical kind of could like both players do a proxy and have some kind of weird situations. I feel like it's going to be one of those series.
Yeah, I think we're going to see at least one or two games like that. It's like, uh-oh, both went DTs. Now what happens? This is going to be crazy. Yeah. We could definitely see a proxy gate out of one or both of these players. Notice that MyuNgSiK has pretty much proven that in 2014 for individual leagues, he's about Code S round of 32 level.
Yeah, I'd say so.
As he did that
Based
3 times.
Off results. And he's got some really sick hair, man. He's got like the locks flowing down and curling up.
Yeah, he definitely wins the Wolf Most Unique Hair Award for 2014 officially.
Yeah?
I'm announcing it right now, yeah. I'll give him the trophy later.
Yeah?
Well, San, man, this guy, look at his results. He's got a laundry list of those.
Yeah, probably got even more that can't fit on the list. But, yeah, he's been around, playing in Europe for a while, but he's here in Korea now for Yoi Flash Wolves. Can play in Pro League as well with that StarTale Yoi Flash Wolves team. So we're going to be seeing a lot more of this guy out here.
Wasn't actually expecting him to do that well in the GGT when he came over to represent Europe. Was expecting him to look okay, but have some trouble with the top Korean pros that he played against. But he played insanely well, and from then on I knew, this guy is still tip-top level. Even though he's playing over there in Europe, he's managed to maintain his skills. That's why he does so well in WCS Europe. And I'm looking forward to him. I definitely think San is the favorite here. Nimbus and Merry-Go-Round are the bans here for MyuNgSiK and San, respectively. And the first map is going to be Deadwing, so we're starting things off on a bigger one. So even though these two players like to be aggressive, already in game number 1, we might see a little bit of a more macro-oriented play.
Yeah, and then we're going to jump straight into Overgrowth, King Station Station, Foxtrot Labs, and Catalina. So 3 maps in a row after Deadwing where you know the spawn of your opponent.
Yeah, 2-player maps, basically. Straight-up 2-player maps, and then Foxtrot is essentially a 2-player map before we get into our last big map, Catalina. The ban on Nimbus makes me feel like MyuNgSiK's a little bit concerned about possible Oracle play or San's multitasking and harassment. And the ban on Merry-Go-Round for San maybe just doesn't like the map. Taking a third base there can be a bit awkward if the game goes longer. Maybe he's not comfortable with that. Just a stylistic ban. And obviously, this is Protoss versus Protoss. A mirror matchup.
Yeah.
All the 2 players are in the lobby. The map is loaded. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Christmas Day here. It's time for our final match of the night. Protoss versus Protoss. MyuNgSiK versus San. They both look confident. They both look ready. It's time. The map is loaded. Let's jump into the game. Game number 1 here on Deadwing.
Up here in the top right in the red Protoss player, it is MyuNgSiK.
For those wondering what MyuNgSiK's ID means, it's just his name.
Yeah.
Straight up. And to the bottom right, vertically spawned here in blue, Parting's teammate, San.
Yeah, we saw him go into the booth after Parting was down 0-2, but whatever advice he gave him didn't quite work out.
No. Might have even just said, relax, just keep playing your style, or, just don't get too shaken up by this. Dark just played way too well. You can see some of the results here of these 2 players.
Yeah. Taking out Reality Trap and True to actually get to this tournament that's a lot of really good players there that he had to go through. And
True especially, man.
Yeah.
True's got some great ZVP. Taking out Top as well, by the way. One of our old school pro gamers from OGS.
Is that the same OGS Top?
Yep.
Wow.
You can see San having victories over Su and Center. Did end up losing to Byung, on the other hand, in the round of 4 of Group B. Just all those stats for you guys.
Pretty cool. Well, MyuNgSiK's going to be the first one to move out here. Outside of that, we do see pretty mirror builds. We see MyuNgSiK take his first gas a little bit earlier and the second one a little bit later. But besides that, not too much difference here. And he is going to scout the correct position first. Not going to go straight across the map.
Nope. And that's going to work out really well for him. And the scout from San coming out as well here. Seeing this probe timing will most likely scout correctly as well. Scouting cross first is kind of weird. You very rarely see that, but just because it takes longer. And probe comes in here. Because the wall is pretty tight. Sees double gas. Knows nothing really out of the ordinary here. Could click on the gases and see like exactly how much gas has been mined. But he doesn't take the time to do that. He needs to be careful. He doesn't want to lose that probe. He does escape with it. Or does not actually escape with it.
Oh my god.
That was a bit odd.
Wow. Okay. Well, Stargate is rushed out for both players here. And the thing is, because he lost that scout, MyuNgSiK is actually not going to see what San's going to do, but San's easily going to see what MyuNgSiK is doing. So from here, you know, if MyuNgSiK decides to go Oracles, which he may not because he did get scouted, San can easily counter regardless with some Phoenixes.
Yeah, we saw this yesterday, actually, and Patience was the victim of this sort of scout. He ended up canceling and going Twilight Council after the scout left. Because
and then that got scouted.
Yeah, then that got scouted too. It was a really unlucky game yesterday, but that's sometimes something that you can do when this happens to throw your opponent off guard. And obviously, yeah, there's the Phoenix coming out here instead because he doesn't want to do something that...
Oh, he actually canceled that Stargate here. And he's adding 2 extra gateways.
Okay, well, this is going to be a totally different game then. Phoenix comes out here just because he was preparing for this. And wow, a 4-gate. We don't see this very often, but it's MyuNgSiK we're talking about here. He'll pull out any sort of all-in. If you've heard of it, he'll do it.
Bet he will. He's setting his probe in a very interesting pattern here. Actually avoiding that watchtower. He wants to get this done totally unscouted. And because San is keeping his Phoenix back at home, he does not get the scout. He has no idea. Okay. Now he's going to send him over, it looks like. And he's going to be like, hey, where are your air units? And he's going to begin to notice something that's a little bit funky here.
He might be thinking that this is going to be a blink attack. And that would be disastrous because that comes much slower. And that is, you know, something that doesn't have this much warp-in potential. He's got so much gas, actually. You might even want to consider pulling 2 probes out of gas to actually increase his mineral income here so he can actually keep warping and Stalker straight up. The Stalker will die, but it's taking so long it's going to take a second lift as well. And he still has no idea what he's up against. Now a Stalker walks in, and I think he's going to walk over him.
Up the ramp and just make a pylon if he wants. But there's just nothing here in the base for San.
Well, he's going to die. Almost certainly. Needs to make sure that he keeps the Stalkers alive because if he can start coming back for some lifts, there's that usage of that gas. Instead of pulling out of gas, he just makes sentries so he can force field the very small amount of units that San has. San's making a Void Ray, of course, because he knows that he needs that extra firepower to survive here. And he may be able to do it. The Nexus Cannon's going to buy him a lot of time. All right, picks up that sentry, takes it out instantly. Nice catch there. He's actually doing a lot better on this defense than I thought he would. Those Phoenixes are fast.
Yeah, he's buying a lot of time with this Nexus Cannon, of course, but the pylon is in the high ground, so not going to be any sentries that will save him at this point.
First Void Ray's out. Needs to make sure that it gets the maximum amount of damage. Might even want to just pull it back and make sure it doesn't get targeted. One Phoenix gets targeted, speaking of which.
Yeah, really nice targeting here by MyuNgSiK.
Mothership is actually, you know, not too far away from another Nexus Cannon, but he's going to need a lot more time. And first comes the target on that Void Ray. It does go down, but some good pickups here with those Phoenixes. There's just not a lot of DPS besides the Phoenixes here. And the probes, they're going down left and right. Looks like this might just end it.
He's only got 2 Zealots on the ground here, and they can easily be kited. There's another Void Ray that has come out, and it will charge up. There's just too many Stalkers left. GG is called, and MyuNgSiK takes a quick game 1.
Mind games. Got scouted.
This is what I was talking about, man.
He's very well versed in this. We saw yesterday the variation of the Twilight Council, but you go into 4 gates. Nobody expects the 4-gate. It's like not even really resource efficient.
He definitely did not expect that. And the scout was late. He was waiting for an air unit. And I guess he just didn't expect MyuNgSiK to actually cancel that. It was so far along, you know, when he did cancel that. But he was able to transition out pretty well and do that damage because it was just so tricky. That's why it worked.
It wasn't even a normal 4-gate build. It was delayed. You guys could see how much gas he had because the build is just not really a good build. That's why nobody really is like, I'm going to do a 4-gate opening. It's just a tricky build to throw him off.